addition to coffee, I do enjoy a fine cigar. This is an Opus X Destino Siglo. I wanted to talk about something, and look, let's be real here. I didn't think I was going to get 20,000 views on my first Mobile Fidelity video. I was just talking as a passionate collector of product. I didn't think I was going to get 20,000 views on my next video. I do believe that people like seeing audio porn. They like seeing the system of real people that are not in the industry and at a different perspective. So I wanted to come back and give you another perspective. First of all, I watched some videos on the Mobile Fidelity thing where people were saying they feel bad for somebody that purchased Santana Abraxas, which I covered in my first video, for $2,500 or $3,000. That would be like saying you feel bad for somebody that purchased a stock high and then it went down. That's ridiculous. That's what a market is. If you're a trader in any financial market, or your crypto market, stock market, futures market, sports market, you always have the position where you can buy high and it can go down. So that's a risk you take. I'm not in the flipping game. I've never purchased one album that I've resold on the recommendation of Mazzy's Music and 45 RPM. I just ordered the Grateful Dead 24 disc Pangent pressed box for $500, and I was thinking about that. 24 albums for $500, digitally sourced, but under no illusions that they're not. I'll never sell them. I have the Beatles mono right here. Let me show you. I bought this new for I think $350. I've had people offer me stupid money for it. Never even opened the book. Or most of the albums, the book is still sealed. Never sell it. I don't buy this stuff for the purpose of selling it, nor I'm a collector. Like I said, in my original video, I like stuff. But what I wanted to cover was something very unique. And I thought about this in this whole Mobile Fidelity audiophile listening experience. I am an intentional listener, which means I'm a cyclist. I do not listen to music when I cycle. I don't put earbuds. I don't even own a pair of earbuds. I don't work out with music. I don't listen to music in the car. I only listen to sports radio or financial radio. I do not. The first thing I did to improve my working out, either in the gym with weights or cycling, was to get rid of the music and just focus on what I was actually doing. The music was a diversion. I'm not interested in music when I drive, and I'm not interested in music as muzak, background noise. I'd rather listen to podcasts, educational material. I am certainly not interested. I am an intentional listener. I'm an audiophile that wants to sit in his chair and intentionally listen. And what I realized in this whole Mobile Fidelity debacle, which again, it surprised me that I got so many people watching these videos, and it's cool, because it's outside the realm of my business. It's just a hobby that I love, and I'm going to continue to love, which is, how many times have I gone back and reopened a one step? How many times, and I thought about it, you saw me count in that first video, 14 one steps. You know what I realized? Rarely go back to them, because the user experience, and people complain about the size of the box, storing the box, the user experience is not conducive to wanting to even pull it out and throw it on the turntable. Now, I understand some people store their boxes separately and then store their albums separate. I'm not one of those guys. My albums are in the box. So the UHQRs, I have every UHQR that's been issued, as well as the one steps. We'll put them in the same category for the purpose of boxing. Don't really pull out the UHQRs. I've listened to Jethro Tull twice. Are You Experienced a couple times. I have other copies of all these albums. Kind of Blue, I have other copies of all these albums. And it's the same thing with the one steps. Haven't really gone back and gone through the drama of opening them and throwing them on the table. So if I really think about it, what I got into was the collector ideal that they were limited, i.e. any other thing that you collect that's a limited edition. And what I realize now with the DSD is a lot of people were talking about, but they sound great. We know they sound great. But the reality is, even though they sound great, I wasn't going back and listening to them. I have Donald Fagen Nightfly. It was one of the first ones I ever purchased. And again, keep in mind, I've never bought these at an overinflated rate. $125 for every one, direct from MoFi or Music Direct. Never bought them on the secondhand market. And what I realized was, all of the Mobile Fidelities that I go back to are the ones not in the box. Not in the box. Sketches of Spain, not in the box. Bitches Brew, not in the box. The Mobile Fidelity Dark Side of the Moon, which I'm still not really, it's not one of the better pressings, believe it or not in the box. The White Album, not in the box. As you saw, I have the full box right here. So, if I really go back to the beginning, where I was never buying them just because they were released, Mingus Ahum. Listen, that's probably the album that I've listened to the most of all of them. Even the Thelonious Monk I haven't listened to as much. Because again, it's the whole pulling it out, getting it, flip. It's just in real world living, when you're working all day and you come back and you look at 1,000 albums that are laid up against the wall, which is a whole nother story. I had IKEA shelving. I came home one day from work, that's a whole other story, and the shelf, they crashed. And they were all over the floor, some of the albums were damaged. What I realized was my speakers corners and my Runout grooves are the ones that I go back to the most. My Runout grooves are awesome. I have the Joe Jackson Runout groove. I probably listen to that more than any of the one steps, compared to the original pressing Joe Jackson that I have. So the morphines, the typo negatives, all of the Runout grooves that I have sound absolutely amazing. The speaker corners sound absolutely amazing. I'm playing a speaker corner right now. Love it, unbelievable, sounds amazing. The Gil Evans Orchestra plays the music of Jimi Hendrix. We'll see if I get a copyright on this video or not. If I do, such is life. But here's what you have to understand. Ask yourself if you're one of these people that's all up in arms about the Mobile Fidelity debacle. Were you really going back? Were you really opening up that big case? Were you really interested in flipping those? And again, I have no issue with the 45s. The 45s that I go to the most are my Acoustic Sounds doors. I have every 45 Acoustic Sound doors. And I have no problem playing them. And it's never an issue. I think the issue is, does it entice you at the end of the day when you walk over to your collection to crack open any of these box sets? Even my Beatles mono here, I go through phases where I'll listen to it. But it's not on a regular basis. I'm going to be getting the delivery of the Grateful Dead box, 1972, a year older than me. We'll see. I'll go through and listen to the 24 albums. I'm not buying it to flip. But am I going to really go back each time? Probably not. So think about that if you're an audiophile. You're freaking out about this DSD thing. Now again, I have no empathy for somebody overpaying for these products on a secondary market. That is the nature of a market. That's on your ass. I have no problem with. What I will say is this. I personally canceled all of the 11 pre-orders that I had of the Mobile Fidelities, not because they'll sound good, because what I realized is two things, not one thing. A, They're overpriced at $125. The limited exclusivity is completely made up. They can make as many mothers and fathers as they want because it's coming from a DSD. There's no degradation of the analog tapes. That is just nonsense. So there's no reason, if the album was 50 bucks, 60 bucks, I would consider purchasing them. So on that basis alone, knowing that they're not really limited, it's just made up. Completely made up. There's no reason to purchase them. And then the second thing is, I wasn't listening to the ones that I've had. Those 14 albums that you saw me on my first video, I have literally spun once on average, and the Mingus more than once, maybe 3 times. Take that to the bank and see if that makes any sense before you worry about whether the mobile fidelities are ripped from a DSD or not ripped from a DSD, where you're really listening to them. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want. I'm going to be coming with more audio content in between my sports betting content, which is my main business, and I'll be hitting some record shops and audio stores, and as I do that each time, I'm going to be recording, giving you guys a little tour of the crate digging as well as the audio shops that I hit.